Davies.
Davies won't be there. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tajon will just depend on if he goes back to Inter Milan or if he gets a transfer and doesn't have to worry about the Club World Cup. So we know our 3 stars won't be there. And right now, I take mostly that exact same squad from the Nations League to the Gold Cup if they're able to make it. Like when we look at that Gold Cup, we should have Bombito and Derek Cornelius fit, ready to play and to start at the Gold Cup, which I know people probably want to see rotation, but like we talked about earlier, when we look at the Gold Cup, that historically is our Euros, right? As we like to phrase it, that is the North American title. And for me, when I loop my head around the Nations League, I'm more excited to win the Gold Cup, to look back on history from when we last won it and win it with this quote-unquote best team ever. And I know we won't have our 3 stars, but looking at what USA will send, they won't have Pulisic. They probably won't have some others if Jedi Robinson's going on transfer talks as well. This Canadian team should be the strongest at this tournament by far again. And I know we already got our hopes up about that at the Nations League, but I think Marsh probably has learned, like you said, after that Mexico game, and is going to take that into the Gold Cup. And I'd love to see Bombito and Derek Cornelius there, but as I see, you got a lineup builder, and are we ready to build our lineup? Up to you.
Build me what you think it'll be, because I don't want to die over Steph's. It's the He Believes Cup. I can't. Okay. This is you win, Steph. I appreciate you, but you win that. I'm just like,
that's a good one. That is.
There's so many levels of that. I was like, I'm just so annoyed that you said that, but it's well done.
Okay, that's quality.
It is quality, but I do agree with you, Steph. Here, putting the Gold Cup with the same time as the CWC, it's not respectful for the tournament. But they're like, but it's the same time. But you're also making these players, you're making these teams bring their best players. And like,
have they ever respected it though? Like other years?
That's a whole conversation. Is it like what is the respect aspect of it? Because like I am someone who thinks that it should be, but I think the frequency limits. I don't know. Like I because I almost want to be. I'm someone who's like, if you want your federational tournaments to matter, make them matter, right? I've been banging the drum for like 3 years for the radical idea of, it would be really fun. Whoever wins your continental tournament, they make the World Cup. Just put that out there. Maybe that in the problem with CONCACAF is we've made it not worth. We've diminished its worth by who we send. Like the U.S. at one point were sending what we would call a B team, a C team, and they were still scrapping by and winning. And so if that's happening, you're like, oh, so then should we really take it seriously? I was looking forward to it this year. I think it's still important. I'm not going to have an AFCON Jamie Carragher argument. It is important. Just because you don't see it as important, that's on you. You're the media. You're allowed to make it important, but you are telling us it's not. Therefore, the masses won't believe it is. So that's on you. I do wonder with the frequency aspect of it, if that would matter. If because it's happening so frequently, it doesn't matter. AFCON just gets the bad rap because of the timing. Because every European club is like, but it's January. What are we going to do? We're going to miss our players. We miss them. And then I'm like, and the Euros happens. It's like, but it's the summer. We're in preseason. You're going to miss because you don't care because you're in preseason, but you care because you came off a break. This year will be interesting because AFCON is literally in the December window. So it'll start in December and then run into January. So that'll be interesting to see how they kind of navigate that. But I think AFCON just gets it because of the timing. It's the most inconvenient thing for European football.
Especially for Premier League when everyone's Premier League centric, right? Worldwide.
Yeah. And so they're just like, well, that doesn't matter. And that becomes a thing. And it sucks. But let's build it. Your 11 that you would have for the Canadian Shield. And I guess your way too early Gold Cup starting 11. Who do you have playing where?
Well, I absolutely love this because I plan on making a video about my way to early Gold Cup lineup as well. So this works perfect.
Get your reps in. Got to get your reps in.
Exactly. As I haven't prepared for this, I'm very excited for this. Goalkeeper, I find is very interesting, right? Because the MLS season is going to be going on. Mm-hmm. So I don't It's going to be very weird to see what he goes with. I would think he goes with Dane St. Clair, and that's who I'd go with. I think he's going to stay with the hot hand. I think he's going to continue to give Dane St. Clair those reps and important competitive games through preparation for the World Cup. But Crepeau could easily start this. I think that's easily in conversation as well. He might even say, Dane, you're looking for a transfer to Europe. I understand that. You continue to play club football and look for a transfer. I think it gets interesting as if one of the experienced goalkeepers stays home, the second and third goalkeeper are. Like, will it be Sirois, Pantemis? The one I think that is a lock, I know we're not building those yet, like the reserves and whatnot, but I'll just throw this out there. Owen Goodman.
I think he's coming, yeah.
I think he's already said that. His dad said that. Then Owen Goodman went to talk about that. I think that was one we don't have to worry about at all. We're fine there. But I hope he comes for the Gold Cup. That's my one hope for a backup player that really does come. And then center backs, I'm going to say Cornelius and Bombito.
Okay.
Going very strong. I think they'll both be available. Cornelius, as long as there's no injury, he'll be there. I think he's the guy who Marsh absolutely loves there. I know some supporters want to see probably Luke DeFougerolles, Jamie Knight-Labelle, Joel Waterman. And I think the only one of those two that might miss out is Moise Bombito, maybe if there's a transfer situation, which wouldn't shock me with how good he's played. But I'll leave left back because I am still absolutely bamboozled on who I'll put there right now. Right back, I will say Nico Seeger. I know that might
put him at right back.
Yeah, I know that might be a topic for some people because yourself, I'm pretty sure you want to see him in the midfield, and I am someone who wants to see him in the midfield as well. I would.
You see that? It says CDM and a right mid. You see it?
I was waiting for that.
There's my take.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. But
all right, but that's fair. That's fair.
That's not where I want him to play. I want him in the midfield. But with Jesse Marsh now he put him there. Was it in the Panama? It might have been Panama friendly and Suriname, but I'm pretty sure he came on at right back in one game and at right mid at the other game. And the fact that Jesse Marsh hasn't brought him on into central midfield is something that makes me think he looks at him as the future backup fullback or backup right mid in the future. So that's why I'm starting at right back to get reps. And at left back, I am going to bank on Richie Larea being fit.
Okay.
I would go out of Kubi, but I just don't have the hope and faith that he's going to be fit, available for us to play. And Richie Larea has that flexibility, and clearly he's not one to go for Zorhan Basong at this moment in time, even though he's playing okay in the MLS. Right midfield and the midfield is where I think we're going to see a lot of change and rotation.
Okay.
There's no way I'm putting Osorio at right midfield. I can tell you that for free right now. I will go with Ali Ahmed.
Okay.
I love Ali Ahmed. He is extremely underrated, like I think you said earlier. Does not get the praise in this Canadian team. I know he's more of a left-hand sided player, but for the left midfield, I have someone else reserved there. And at right midfield, I'd probably say Tajon Buchanan, but I just don't have the confidence that he's going to be available with Inter and whatever's going on. So at left midfield, I will go rogue and say Jaden Nelson, that he continues his form, that he continues to rise. And I really hope he can crack this team because the resurgence he has had has just been so exciting.
All right.
Who I would go with if he's back and fit is Liam Miller.
Fair.
Because Liam Miller is crucially underrated, I think, in this Canadian team. I don't know how you feel about Liam Miller, but I think throughout Twitter, that unbelievably happy place, he just gets so harassed, and it's just not needed because under Herdman, he never had the opportunities, and under Marsh, he has looked like a fantastic footballer.
I think that's a fair point. I think with Herdman, and I think he's a player who I think through the years, his hype preceded what he actually was.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a fair comparison, but I'm going to make it. and there's going to be some Woso fans are going to come for me with this, but I'm going to make this comparison. I feel like Liam Miller in different ways, like, has the Jordan Heidema cloud, where it's, and Heidema had it worse than him, where it's, look at this young, exciting prospect. Where are they? Okay, Liam's at Liverpool, Jordan's at PSG. Look at them do. And then eventually they found the spot that worked for them, and you started to see them really grow into that player. But I think for the beginning part of them, the hype and the pomp and the circumstance of where they were versus the player that they actually were at the moment outshone everything. And because of that, it became a situation where they could never live up to it, right? Liam's there, and it's like, oh, look at oh, you're at this major European English academy. Okay, now what are you doing? And then Jordan was the same thing. Oh, she's at PSG, and now look at you. You're back in the NWSL, which really isn't that much of it. It's a one league. Maybe it's a parallel move. It's maybe that. But for Liam, it took him a while. But Liam was finding, and I think Liam was also in an era where Liam was finding spots and was performing well. He just couldn't stick around. Where conversely, Theo Corbianu, where every loan he was going to, it just felt like it wasn't working. You're like, I see the tools. Someone let this boy play. I see the tools. And so I think Liam got that, but he's always been a good player. I think under Herdman, I think he was a victim of formation, not necessarily, and that became opportunity, because I think he's best used as a winger. But if you're going to play as a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2, he's not a wing back. I mean, he's learned to be one. He's improved there. He's not a wing back still. But if he's not going to play him out wide, he's going to play him as a 9. So he's going to want to drift there. He's going to drift out. And that becomes, I always say this, players, no matter what they are, they'll always revolt back. In high stress situations, they always revert back to the basic formatting, which means if you're always trained as a winger, you're going to drift out wide. Doesn't matter if you play yourself as a 9, the tendency and the want is to go there. And I think that's where he struggles, and that's where he got a bad rap. But yeah, I do agree. Good player if he's healthy, good player to bring in. And I'm excited to see what that could be. You got 4 slots left, and I, for one, look forward to not scrutinizing them in any way.
Now, get excited for your 11 as well, because I don't think it'll look anything like mine right now either.
Mm-hmm.
I think center mids, I feel like this is going to be Ismael Kone's tournament, where last summer we saw him at the Copa America. I think this summer we're going to see him as the exact same, but in the Gold Cup, and just absolutely tear this tournament apart. I think he's going to have a great tournament. And beside him is where I think it's very interesting, because Noah Stachio, I think he goes with Mathieu Choinière.
Yeah,
I feel like that's just the obvious partnership. They've done it before, the experience, everything. But someone I really hope gets an opportunity is Nathan Saliba.
Yes.
I don't think he's had that. Well, it's been hard for him to get that opportunity with the squad right now and how deep that midfield is. Mm-hmm. But I hope if it comes to a sub situation, it's not Osorio, it's Nathan Saliba.
Agreed.
And if we can play a 4-2-3-1, please play Nathan Saliba at the 10 and not Jonathan Osorio, because I just don't want to see that right now. But up front, the front 2, no Jonathan David. It becomes very interesting. As much as I think he's going to go Larin Tani, for my hope, as much as the rest of the team, I've gone with some picks, Jesse Marshall, some picks mine. I'm going to say it's Tani and Daniel Jebison. And I think Promise is going to be the first one off the bench. Please God, it's David, not Larin off the bench. But as much as I want to say Promise starts, I think it just really depends on form going in. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like it'll be a toss up between Jebison and Promise David, I feel like.
That's fair. Take your screen grabs, everyone.
Yeah.
Grab it in. This is that's a good point. What about Junior Hoylett instead of Oso?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
That is a player who I think he could be a player who I think it depends where you want them. I think he's good enough to be an 8 still. Yeah. He doesn't have the legs to do all that, but I think as an 8 and a late arriving, I think he could definitely fit into that spot. He wouldn't be a bad call for like the Gold Cup veteran, like almost treating this like it's the Olympics, and it's like, okay, it's a U23 team, but who are your 3 overagers? Bring on Junior. That I think that would be a perfect role for him there. So he at least, though it can be a different team, and I think it'll be different, but we'll kind of go from there.
I still think he can come on for an Ahmed late in the game, like we saw against Suriname, right? Where he just brought that extra energy and leadership.
Mm-hmm. I think that is a fair point. That's a fair point. Steph, I know you have Steph is naming people here. Steph had Justin Smith, Koleosho, Jamie Knight, LaBelle, Owen Goodman, because I don't trust any of our keepers. I mean, hey, have faith. You gotta have faith.
No
Steph.
doubt.
Santi Lopez is an interesting one.
That's an interesting one. I think he'll be in the call up.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where he sees Santi. I don't know if he sees Santi more as a 9 or as an outside winger. Because if he sees him as a winger, I think, that could be fun. That could be fun. That would make the winger conversation a lot more fascinating. Maybe we don't have to try to go and find other players. Like maybe you don't have to recruit a player like a Luca Koleosho. But that is